We're doing it.
Right on.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, man, I can't complain. Who would listen?
Not me.
Apparently, I have this. I have a running joke that both my listeners would listen.
Oh, well, I think I can get you one more for this episode.
Your mom?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Catherine Moran, one of the best.
Shout out, Catherine. What's up? Unfortunately, my mom doesn't watch or listen because she would be. She's religious, so she might not approve of all of the topics that we talk about.
That could be a long confessional session,
right?
And little Hail Marys and Our Fathers.
Yeah, she's she's not Catholic, but I always thought she'd be a good Catholic. She's like sort of Baptist-y.
Okay.
But I think she needs more activities. I think she needs prayer beads and like rituals and things to do.
We like to do things with our hands.
Yeah.
Catholics. I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
But I'm not a practicing Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Catholic, if you will.
Catholic?
Yeah, Catholic. Now, I don't know why. It's nothing like, it wasn't like a conscious decision on my part.
Sure.
At one point, I just didn't get confirmed. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. And whatever, but I identify as a Catholic.
Sure.
I guess,
Yeah.
I just find them, it's a weird religion.
All religions are kind of weird in their own way.
Yeah. I mean, here's my big thing with Catholicism. And this is like, not to go deep or dark, but like, Pope John Paul II, like he was the second longest reigning Pope in the history of the papacy. Mm-hmm. From like 77 or whatever it was up until 2005. And that's like almost 30 years, like that's 28 years.
Yeah, that's a lot of power for a long time.
A lot of things you might have seen in 28 years
or
maybe been told about in 28 years.
Especially if you have a vault full of secrets
totally
in your own city.
And like for him to not know certain things is just like, wait a second here. Mm-hmm. We're kind of elevating him to sainthood a little too quick, in my opinion. Let's pump those brakes.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, he's a saint. And
oh, really?
I think he has been canonized. And they fast tracked it.
Of course.
Because you can do that when
you got to fast track the Pope to sainthood. Who's really pulling the strings over there, though? Because if the Pope's not really the boss, he's the figurehead.
There's like, the window dressing.
Yeah, who's really the guy?
It's Satan.
Oh, interesting.
Or Saddam Hussein.
Yeah,
one of the two.
Formally,
yeah. I'm thinking of South Park.
Right. Yeah. I never got into that show.
It's brilliant.
It does have its moments. From what I've seen, it is funny. It's just something it never hooked me. I kind of go in, like, I'm seasonal with it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's certain beers that I drink during the year because of the season. Sure.
Like a heavier beer.
Oktoberfest.
Exactly. Heavier beers in the winter, and then lighter beers in the summer. There's just some seasons where I paid more attention to South Park. Mm-hmm. And I would say, like, there's one episode that I always think about. It's the Kanye West episode.
Okay.
And the fish sticks.
Didn't see it.
Do you like fish sticks?
I think I like fish sticks as much as everybody else likes fish sticks.
Are you gay?
No.
But you like fish sticks?
Sometimes.
Are you gay?
No.
But you like fish sticks?
You have to be gay to like fish sticks?
Well, fish sticks is like, it's like fish. Like, do you like fish sticks? Like, are you a gay fish? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Are you a gay fish? And he's like, I'm not a gay fish. Yeah. So they kept, like, because he likes gay fish. Mm-hmm. Or I'm sorry, I'm totally messing this up. Because Kanye West likes fish sticks.
Mm-hmm. But not fish dicks.
Exactly. It sounds like fish sticks.
Yeah.
They're always asking him, well, are you a gay fish? And he goes to great lengths to prove that he's not a gay fish in the episode. And then ultimately he comes out at the end as a gay fish.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, there's a song.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant the way, and they beat the hell out of Carlos Mencia.
Oh, they should.
In the episode.
Yeah.
Because like it all starts out as a joke that he's like the gay fish sticks, whatever.
And then Carlos steals the joke.
Yeah.
That's funny.
and they beat the hell out of him for it or something.
Man.
It's funny. Man.
What an interesting time to be a comic, huh?
I tell you, man, especially in LA.
Yeah. Well.
Or anywhere, really.
Is New York not feeling the heat? Are those guys?
I would assume anyone who's broadcasting,
right,
into a microphone of any kind for laughs.
Painting a target on your back these days.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Just be funny and don't do bad shit.
Be good. Be a good person.
Right.
It's
Why
not
is that
hard.
so hard in Los Angeles for people to be good people?
I don't know. I wish if I had the answer, I would open up a be a good person school. Like there's acting schools.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's missing here.
Yeah, school for Karens.
Well, yes, that's a whole nother option.
I've got to write that down. We're going to side business.
Yes, indeed. But like I think people come out to the entertainment industry from whatever town they're from. They have this idea that it's all art.
Right.
It's all creative.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no personal business sense that they know to apply to their art.
They're waiting for it to happen to them.
Yeah, they can't marry their passion with their business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we kind of get behavior like what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I acted the way some people are being accused of acting in an office building,
you're done.
Boom. And it's on your record. Good luck getting hired at the next place.
Yeah.
Because it follows you everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. But now they're making it harder and harder at bigger corporations to get fired for small, what they call microaggressions now.
Yeah.
Those just start getting on your record. And let's say I offend you in some way at our office. Well, you don't get fired. You get moved down the hall. Now you work with somebody else.
Yeah.
They keep moving you around, but they don't want the liability of firing you because they don't want the lawsuit.
Very much like the Catholic Church. They just move you around.
What a callback.
I love it, baby.
Yeah, we're making jokes now.
Set up and spike.
Boom.
But like going back to that though, real quick. I just lost the train of thought. I had such a good callback. I lost my
The Catholic Church, moving it around.
Moving it around.
You get moved if you mess up.
Moved if you messed up. Oh, and a lot of and this is from my experience because I've worked in like corporate America at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a boys' club.
Sure.
Most of in my experience, the place I worked at, you didn't fire women. You didn't let women go. Mm-mm. Because they knew that if they let women go, there was going to be a lawsuit.
Yep.
And the reason they knew there was going to be a lawsuit is because they have it on file of the transgressions that have been happening over years. And they know if they let her go, she's going to go and hire a lawyer and all the transgressions are going to come forward. Right. So it's cheaper to keep her.
Whoa.
In that regard.
I think we just found the name of this episode.
Oh boy.
No, definitely not.
But you know what I'm saying? Where it's like they're looking at it not from like she's a person who has rights.
Yeah.
They're looking at her like, no, she's an asset.
Right.
And we don't want because we can lose money on that asset.
Right. So
keep it in house.
Yeah. Do you feel like those days are shifting to like a more progressive tone? Do you think those smaller shops, those 20, 30 people offices in the Midwest are now getting a little bit more woke, or do you think it's I guess it's probably hit and miss, right? It's probably company by company, but
I think also by industry.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are more aware of it, but then again, I was really aware of it as a kid.
Right.
When you heard about people doing sexual harassment and getting fired in the news, even as a kid, you're like, oh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
That'll hurt you.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't get fired for doing weird shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, that was 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am now, years removed, about 7 years from a corporate environment.
Yep.
But it was happening 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Odds are, if it was happening 10 years ago and it was happening 20 years ago,
right,
30 years ago, it's probably still happening.
Why is it still happening? We all grew up knowing that this is wrong. If you touch a stove when it's hot, you're going to burn your hand. We all know
exactly. That. Well, they always say it's the power structure.
Right.
And I believe that. Part of the power structure, and the way it's set up is obviously, especially in corporate America, everyone is trying to advance their career and make more money. Mm-hmm. There's the 99% and then there's the 1%. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the 99%, not everybody, is under they don't understand that they're not going to get out of the 99%.
Right. But we've created a fallacy that if you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you can make $1 billion next year.
Right.
Also.
But that's not going to happen for most people.
No.
It just isn't going to happen.
But they want the option.
Exactly. And they should have that option.
Something to shoot for.
Because they can't have it, they have to substitute what they can't have.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to find ways to get. And what you want, basically what you can't have is some form of power.
Right.
You're trying to get something to control. Mm-hmm. Right. So you can't control the amount of money coming in your way. But you got cognitive thought, you're critical thinking, you see what's happening going on in your environment.
Yeah.
You can pick up what you can control about people.
Right.
you know certain things about certain people after a while that that person's this, I can do that and get away with it.
And if you can pick up your Twitter and find something wrong with somebody else, then maybe you can knock them down to where you're at because you weren't able to achieve.
It becomes not about money, but it's like, well, I need to feel good about myself.
Right.
And now you're tearing people down. Like Twitter, we were talking about this. It's like, it's the toilet of social media, wild, wild west.
Right.
You go on there and it's constant negativity. You know, not only are the F-bombs dropping, but people get really creative with how they want you to die.
That's true.
You know, I've had one guy told me he wanted to like crack the teeth out of my mouth with my coffee mug once.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah, he's like, you won't even show up, Joe. Do you got money? Can you fly and meet me? I'm like, what?
I gotta come to you to get my teeth busted.
Yeah, right. You fly out to me, buddy.
Yeah, pal. If you're the one with the problem,
but
bring it here.
A lot of these people, though, too. And I was talking to my brother about this because you got to vent, but you don't want to do it in a way that's going to make you like you're attacking other people, because there's responsibility when you stand in front of a microphone, right? And that is you're a member of the media, the way I look at it.
Right.
Comedians are members of the media, right? And because we have reach. Like I have 2,000 followers. I don't have reach. All right.
Well, you got twice as much reach as I got.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't have 1 million followers.
That's okay.
But that still is it's so powerful in the sense that like you can say whatever you want, and you got 1 million people who are gonna like probably react in the way, pretty much positively,
right,
to you.
Right.
And there's responsibility with that.
Yeah. And the messed up thing is, the more reach you had, like if you did have 1 million followers, your content would show up greater in the algorithm. Than your 2,000. Your 2,000 followers, probably a 20 or 30% get to see randomly what you post every once in a while.
Exactly. So, which means your message you can reach a lot more people and affect and even make change for the good or the better. You know, it's your game.
Yeah.
But like, there's a responsibility that comes with this notoriety that you attain, because people are reacting to what you do.
Right.
And whether you want to be a role model or not, guess what? They're not chosen, and they don't step forward. They just present themselves. It's called leadership.
Right.
And if you're a leader, you don't go waking up one day and like, guys, I want to be a leader. You're not Horseshack from Welcome Back, Kotter. Pick me, pick me. Right?
Right.
That's not what it is.
No.
The leader shows up just be like, this is what we're doing. This is what we got to do. This is how we're going to do it. And
I'm going over here. If you want to come with me,
follow.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah. That's it. That's what a leader does. And when you're on Twitter and you're seeing people just tear each other down, that is insecurity at its best.
Oh, yeah.
To make yourself feel good about you.
Yeah.
You got to make someone else feel bad about themselves.
I think it's a lot like, I don't know how to say this, but it feels good for a second and then it goes away.
Fleeting.
Yeah. So you want to do it again to get that feeling back, but then it doesn't quite feel as good. And now you're down this road where, well, that's just who you are now. You're that guy. And then maybe you could become famous for being the guy that tears other people down. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It's just not a platform that I participate on a lot.
It's funny. It's kind of like, I liken that to like people who go to a casino and they play a slot machine.
I just did that on Saturday.
Good for you. I actually have a theory about like how to play the slots, but that's another.
Oh, we're talking about that in a second.
All right,
for sure.
So like, but like, I think when you go to the casino, you're playing a slot machine. And my dad had a client. My dad's an accountant, and he had a client who was on a riverboat casino, and he won like $50,000 on a pull.
Oh,
right?
Wow!
And,
can't wait for that.
So yeah, it's an amazing feeling from what I understand, like the rush. And that year and the year after, the guy came to my dad for taxes, and he submitted the receipts of losses, and they were gambling losses that exceeded the $50,000 win.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my dad just said, well, like, hey man, look at this. You spent all this money gambling. You lost it. Why do you do this? And the guy flat out said, because at 4 o'clock in the morning, when you're pulling that lever and it comes up with a $50,000 winner, there's no better feeling in the world, Jim. Yeah. And it's like, I don't doubt that. Like, that's probably how I felt the first time I did stand-up comedy.
Right.
You know, you're like, wow, dude.
Yeah.
This is a really good rush. But like, and now you're chasing it. every night at the casino. You're pulling that lever, or every night at the club, trying to get on stage, trying to make, try get that laugh, get
or
that
drugs or anything that makes you feel an elevated sense of life.
And and you're going to do whatever will make it happen to enhance it, and you chase it, and then things happen in between that you think, oh yeah, of course, this is the fun. This is how it's done.
Right.
This is how we do things.
Right.
No, it's not.
You're not supposed to feel that good all the time.
Exactly. And if you haven't noticed anything about the entertainment industry, everything is fake.
Oh yeah.
100%.
That plant behind your head is fake.
I can tell.
That's real though. This one's real.
The chlorophyll is just I don't even think chlorophyll. Oh my God.
Chloroform.
Thank you.
But let's circle back to the Joe Moran beginnings. First of all, your Instagram handle has been under your face the whole time, so people know how to find you on the grams.
Yeah.
I'll just leave that up. But
awesome.
Do you want to talk about Joker's prods?
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there to the show that you have.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to how you started in comedy and acting.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I've already told people in the pre-roll that we met on the set of this Xbox job right here.
Yeah.
That's somebody's name tag from that shit.
I've told you this myself, but like that was such a fun commercial to shoot to be a part of, because there were so many moving parts and action, like so much action, and I was really looking forward to seeing it. And I'm glad that I was able to. Today, but like I know it's not airing, and that's fine. But what an amazing experience, and working with Noah.
Yep. Shout out Noah Eachin.
Wow.
Probably said your name wrong, but
it was just so. I always thought it was Icon.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
He'll tell us in the comments
if he watches.
That's right.
Yeah.
Big if.
Yeah.
Busy guy.
Super busy.
Oh,
and he's so smart too. He moved his family up north. He was working in Pasadena at an advertising agency. Still works for that same advertising agency. Just decided he could do that from wherever he wanted to.
The commercial I shot before that Microsoft one, same scenario with that director for Inspire. He moved up to Portland. He just comes down when he has to.
Yeah, I cannot wait to be based somewhere else. Come here for a week, do my show for the month.
Be done.
Then hop on a flight from LAX, go do a couple of clubs, and then back to Hawaii.
That could be one of the reasons, like what drew me in, is that like I went to a taping of the $25,000 Pyramid show.
Okay.
When Donny Osmond was the host.
Wow.
And like they would shoot like 3 days a week or 2 days a week, 5 episodes a day. I'm like, wait, I can do this. This is something I should do for a living,
right?
Just based on the schedule alone. So definitely, that's why Joker Productions, which is Joker Prods, is it's short for Joe Kerr Productions, which is Joe. I'm Joe, and then there's Kerr. It's Carrie Van Auken. Carrie is my girlfriend and partner in crime, and we created a show at our home called Carrie and Joe's Patio Show.
That's awesome.
And it is a stand-up comedy showcase. It's once a month. It's performed on our patio with 30 guests in the audience. We turned our patio basically into a comedy club. We put in a stage, put up some cool drapes and some lights, and I bought like 30 folding chairs, scoured like Facebook everywhere, like up until the day of the show, where I'm like, oh man, if I can get like 2 more at a decent price, no problem, I'll go get them.
Did you guys do the fake brick wall like we did?
We had a stucco wall, which is just the facade, like how it's painted, and we put 2 drapes, kind of like boxing it. Yeah. On either side. And I hate the color of that stucco and just the way it looked on camera. It just looked sick, or nauseous. So I put a black tarp or whatever background. Yeah. And then we put the sign in front of the background. And we do it once, like I said, once a month. And Carrie and I will open up the show together, and then she'll run the show from there and bring the comics on. And we've had some really cool comics. Mark Brazil's been on the show. Cool. Steve Lally has been on the show. And we've had Sally Mullins and Amanda Cohen. Okay. 2 of my favorite comics. And just really smart and funny people.
Do you go up at your own show?
That's the funny thing. I have not done a set, like my own set, at my own show. And I think there's something poetic about that.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it because it's like, I want to make sure that my community is getting stage time, and I'm able to put together a show and a lineup that's like not heavy handed in one direction.
Right.
And that's where that's the enjoyment I get out of it. I need to do a set on my own show for a couple of reasons. One, it's my show.
Right. That's the first thing I was that's the only motivation to produce a show.
Yeah,
would be to get stage time.
I also, but for me, I love bringing people together. You know, the first time I did stand-up comedy in Chicago, I was so bad.
How bad were you?
Oh my God, it was. I was sweating before I walked on the stage.
Yeah,
but like, I don't think one joke got a laugh.
Interesting.
6 minutes of just like,
wow, that's a lot. That's like 20 hours,
and it's all friends and family.
Yeah,
and I sold out. All friends and family.
Wow.
So it's like, it's good that happened because it happened in front of friends and family. And you know, if it's gonna happen, they're gonna be the most accepting. Right. Totally cool. But it still was like, whoa, dude.
A lot of people would sit there and not be able to, if they didn't get a laugh in front of their friends and family, they would just give up.
Yeah. There was about 2 months where I didn't perform after that.
Yeah.
And I had to like figure it out.
Yeah. I did that after my first mic. My friends drugged me to a mic on a Sunday. They're like, dude, you've been talking about being a comic for a long time. Put up or shut up. You're going to do it right now.
Where was it?
It was, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But it was in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I went up. There was 3 people there, 2 of my, including my 2 buddies. And I told 2 stories. One of them got a laugh from somebody like out in the hall.
Nice.
And I was like, all right. Yeah. I can hear it.
See, that's the ticket right there.
Just that one laugh from that one person.
That's it.
Yeah. But then my buddies videoed it and I watched it. And then I was like, oh. And I didn't go up again for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, man, I thought I was like naturally born to do this. I thought I was just going to get up and like be super funny. And the way I remember telling those jokes, the way when I watch it back on the video, shit's out of order. There's no punchlines. That person was probably laughing because of how nervous I was.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I thought I was just leaning on the wall, casual as hell, just like, yeah, let me tell you a little joke, everybody.
Sometimes it's best to let it live inside your head.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like the universe got that one. That's all I can tell you guys.
Yeah.
You know, and like, okay, like you probably weren't that good, but
right.
I get it, dude. And that's me a lot of the times. You know, I think I am a lot better than I listen to it. I'm like, yeah. I missed that whole point. Oh, I didn't even talk about the premise, but we went to the punchline pretty early. It's like, then you start thinking about the science and the structure of it all.
Right.
And that's good, but like it could paralyze you.
It can. I equate it to, I used to be in a band, so I equate it to like guys that have had a hit song.
Yeah.
On their first record. And now the label wants another record.
Yeah, not just a song.
They want another hit.
They want 12 songs.
Yeah, and they all better be good.
Yeah.
And that has to, you know, so you have, on the current comedy climate, you have like 2 years, right? To build an hour, shoot the special, start over from scratch. Every 2 years you drop a special. Like when you get to a certain point. The thing that fascinates me is the climb between how some guys can go from, you know, just getting spots in the OR or spots in like the main room to touring road comic to theater to special.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. Some guys can pull that shit off before they're 30. And then some guys don't hit it till start when they're 20. Some guys hit it when they're 45. It's like this weird.
I liken it to, I call it the Donald Trump syndrome almost.
Oh, interesting.
In the sense that like, there's a I don't know. I can't think of any comics per se that might fit this description of ascension. Right. But, you know, Donald Trump is not a career politician by any means. He kind of showed up out of nowhere to be a politician.
Right.
And his whole thing was basically saying things out loud that's going to get a reaction that mainly was people laughed at. Right. The guy was a joke. And everywhere he went on a campaign stop in 2016 and 2015, it was basically an open mic or a glorified like feature at a club. Right. And I remember I started out in 2015 and I remember looking at people who I did not think deserved to be on stage certain places. What do I know? You know, I mean,
yeah. Well, before you start, you know a whole lot more about comedy than you think.
Yeah, that's true. Now, with going back to Donald Trump, though, like his ascension went from like open mic night open mic comic to headliner. Right. There was no gap in between. There was no learning process or curve or screwing up or learning how to like work the room properly. You know, it's nice to have a microphone in front of 80,000 people controlling the fact that you have the loudest piece of equipment in the room. Right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't make you good at what you're doing.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Totally.
So you have a lot of comics, and I can't think of anyone particularly right now, but like they hit the scene and next thing you know, they're headlining. Yeah. Actually, I can think of one, and I won't say their name, but like.
I think I know who exactly you're talking about. Were they an actor first?
No.
I think that happens a lot more in the actor world where they want to, they're on a show, they build the following from being on a TV show.
Yeah.
And then, well, I have this following. I know I can sell out Tennessee. I know I can go to Nashville and sell out.
Yes.
So I got to now I'm a stand up. And then are they necessarily telling jokes or are they just doing spoken word live performance? But comedy club is the avenue. So
I can think of one guy who probably started right when I started, and a year or two into his ascension, he started to introduce himself at clubs to other comics. Hey, I'm so and so. I'm a headliner.
Wow.
And
that's a good way to tell everybody you're not a headliner.
That's what I thought. I'm like, okay, those who know don't tell. Those who tell don't know.
It's like when you're anywhere in the world and you watch a guy getting kicked out of somewhere and he says, do you know who the fuck I am?
Yes, exactly.
Nobody. We don't.
And you're leaving.
Yeah.
Goodbye. And 2 years in, God, at 2 years in, I wasn't confident enough to call myself a feature or anything. Like,
yeah, I still don't even call myself a comic. I haven't done it enough.
I mean, but 2 years, it's like, hey, dude, you're not a headliner. Like someone I know actually pulled him aside. He says, "You're not a headliner, dude. You're not a fucking." And this is the kind of guy who like he gets in your face.
Oh, cool.
You know, and he's like, he doesn't care. He'll call you out on stage and like, you know, call you a cocksucker or that kind of thing. He just does not care. He's a funny guy, but like. He's the kind of guy when you say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm a headliner. And you say that to another headliner. That headliner looks at you like, you're a fucking idiot. Nice to meet you. And then you are completely gone out of their mind. Yeah. And you will never, I mean, and if you are in their mind, did you meet that guy? He's a headliner. Now we're all laughing about you being a headliner.
That's right. And that's the last time we're going to think about you.
Yeah.
Till the next time we see you and go, oh, here comes the headliner.
Yeah, the headliner's here. Did you guys check in with the headliner?
Yeah. Clear the green room, everybody. The headliner's here.
Exactly. Yeah. It goes back to like this ascension where I understand that you have this idea of what you want to be and where you want to see your career go. And you have to take it. You can't just wait for it to happen. But at the same time, that overconfidence and overselling yourself, be aware of what you are.
Yeah, it's a read the room situation for sure. And it might be a coping mechanism for people that haven't developed the confidence yet. It's just like, I'm going to have extra bravado around all these other comics to let them know. And then that when I know that they're in the room when I'm performing, then I know I have this false sense of confidence on stage. Yeah. And when I first started, I tried to tell everybody, well, I have a microphone at work in front of film sets. Like I do 12 hours in front of 150 people. Not every day I go to work. I didn't have a microphone the day that we worked together, but you know, a lot of times I do. So I thought, you know, I did the math. I got 7,000 or 8,000 hours on the mic in front of people. And I was like, that's got to help. It's got to do something. Yeah. And everybody was like, no, dude, doesn't matter.
It's a little bit different.
Doesn't matter. Like as much as you try and be funny at work, that's you funny at work. You still have a parachute. You still have the authority to say, let's get back to work. Yeah. Because you're the boss. Yep. You're not the boss at a comedy club on stage.
There's that. And I think there's socially funny. And then there's like funny. Right. You know, like when you're with your buddies, when you're drinking.
Man, I have some of the funniest friends in the world. Yeah. When it's the five of us.
And we're laughing our knee slapping and we're all telling each other. Yeah. You're fucking hilarious,
dude, bro.
Yeah, and like, dude, you should be a comic.
Yeah, and I'm gonna quit comedy so you can be a comic.
Yeah, dude, come on, I'll be a road manager. I'll get you gigs and shit. Yeah, and and you start believing that shit.
And then you convince him to quit his accounting job.
Yeah, and then he starts showing up at open mics. He's like sucking cock in the alley for stage time.
No, do you remember the first time you were like, comedy? I'm doing that shit.
Yeah. Actually, let me think here. The first time I wanted to do stand-up comedy, but I didn't do it. I've always wanted to do it.
Right.
I moved out here in 2002 from Chicago.
Wow. Okay.
I moved out here on Valentine's Day.
So you're a local now.
I am, but I did go back to Chicago for a couple of years, then came back to LA. But the first time I came out here, there was a networking thing on the Radford lot.
Okay.
Once a month, you go in to the commissary.
Yeah.
And I think it's like $25.
Only lot I've never shot on.
It's a cool lot.
Yeah, I've been there. I got a buddy that works on Man with a Plan, but I've never worked there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've only been on it. I've never shot on it. But like
it's all soap operas. Why would you go?
Yeah, and there's I think Seinfeld was there.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Man with the Plan's on the Seinfeld stage now.
Yeah. Central Park. The Seinfeld for Central Park is there.
Wait. So are you talking about Central Park from Friends?
No, Park.
Central Park.
Like when they were in Central Park in New York.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but I saw the street.
Yeah,
because they have
a Torme episode.
Yeah.
That's on the Radford lot.
Yeah, 100%.
But like, going back to this networking thing.
Sure, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. So I get in there and you paid $25 at the door to go and you get a couple drinks. They got a buffet of food. There's like 50 people in the room. Yeah. And if it's your first time there, you have to go on in front of everybody and basically pitch yourself
as an actor.
Whatever you do in the industry.
Okay.
So when I came out here, I wanted to be a writer.
So it's a mixer for.
Yeah.
I want to be a director. I want to be a writer. I want to do all this other shit.
Yeah. So I'm hanging out there, and I at the time I was writing and producing. That was my game. That's what I wanted to be when I got out here. And I introduced myself. Well, I'm in line waiting to go up, and this guy, he says to me, he's looking at me. He's this tall dude with frizzy hair, and I'm like, he looks familiar. And I go up, and I'm listening. Well, I'm listening to everybody, and everyone's just kind of like drab. I'm so and so. I want to be this. I want to do that. Please hire me.
And I want to be an executive producer, and I don't have any money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, here you go, buddy, and 2 bags of cash.
Right.
But I get up there and I'm like, I'm going to make sure these people remember me. And I just went off the cuff.
That's cool.
And I went with this idea of like, I came out from Chicago, and I don't have much going on in terms of employment. Like a lot of people, I took up a part-time job. I'm not a pizza delivery guy. I don't work at Blockbuster, but I am a part-time superhero. And I wear a cape, the whole 9 yards, and like I'm getting laughs and giggls. And that's all I need. Once you get the first one, it's like
lighter fluid. Yep.
Let's do this.
Yep.
And I start talking about why am I not a full-time superhero? You're thinking you're a superhero, you got all these fucking benefits. Why wouldn't you want to be full-time? I'm like, because full-time benefits, there aren't any. There's no 401k. There's no health insurance. Why would you need health insurance? You're a superhero. You don't need that. So they're not taking care of me. You understand?
Right.
And everyone's picking up on this because I'm associating real life with superheroes.
Yeah.
And like what we're all thinking. And like, boom, it's like I'm getting laughs and I'm like kind of freaking out here. Now I'm getting nervous because I'm like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
They're going to expect more.
Right.
I don't got anything.
I don't have a backup bit.
Yeah. So I quickly thanked everyone. I said, I look forward to giving you all my resume and my business card, and let's make movies or something stupid like that. And I got
everybody's like, yeah,
the Great Dictator over here. And so then I get off stage, and that first guy, tall guy with the frizzy hair, he speaks to me. He says, "Oh, where'd you get that bit? NPR?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" He says, "Yeah, did you steal that from NPR?"
No.
And I'm like, "I know who you are." It hit me. And he was in Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, wow.
He was the guard.
The main guard?
The main guard who takes Andy Dufresne and puts him over the ledge on the roof.
And he buys him a couple of beers to mop the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarence.
Yeah.
His real name is Clarence, or Clancy, I think.
Yeah, he's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he was really, totally. Yeah. A great guy. I mean, but he's accused me of lifting material off of NPR.
Right.
Minutes after I got off stage. And I said, no, I didn't lift that from NPR. I made it up on the spot because that's what I did.
Right.
And he's like, oh, it just sounded very familiar. And I was like,
what a dick thing to say.
I know. I was like, wow, you just took the wind out of the sails, man. Like, I'm really like feeling good.
Right. It's Batman slapping Robin right there.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
So no hard feelings. It is what it is. But then I didn't do stand up. I never did it anything after that.
Yeah.
Until 2015.
13 years later.
Yeah.
Wow. But at that moment when you did that bit, you're like, I'm going to do it one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had heard that at one point, I think I heard that there were some classes being offered where at the end of the 5 weeks, you get your stage time.
Bringer show.
Totally.
Yep.
And I did it. And I'm cool with it because I got what I paid for.
Right. They teach you how to write jokes.
Yeah.
You spent 8 weeks writing 5 minutes.
Well, he didn't really teach me how to write jokes, that guy. He just told me basically how to structure a 5-minute act. And then I'd come and read my note and get notes every week from everybody in the class.
Okay.
Now, what he had, though, is that he had the connection at the Improv. He knew people that would come to his show, other bringer producers,
right,
that would book you at other clubs.
To bring more people to their show.
Exactly.
Right.
I did that for like a year and a half. And I knew I was playing that. I knew it, dude. I knew what was going on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
Right.
You know, but like, to me, it was an investment.
Right.
Like, I want to do this. You have to pay a price to do this.
Pay to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago. That's what we do. We pay to play.
You
know, we had a governor go to jail for trying to get someone to pay to play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
When Obama was elected.
Yeah.
Blagojevich.
I stay out of all the politics stuff.
Well, Blagojevich is like, he was on the Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice, before he went to jail.
Really?
Yeah. So he had a history with Donald Trump before he got pardoned by Donald Trump.
Wow.
But when Obama became president, he got caught on tape trying to sell the Senate seat to another guy.
Those are for sale?
They were in Chicago.
How much are they?
I don't know what the numbers were. I'm sure they have it all. There's tape.
I want a Senate seat.
I will take 2 of them. Actually.
My birthday's in October. Go ahead and Venmo me.
But like, yeah, so he went to jail for that prison, and he just got out. But like, that's Chicago. It's pay to play.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. That's politics. I was in politics in Chicago.
Really? How much did you pay for your Senate seat?
I paid $22.75.
Wow, you got
I did not get a chance. I did not get I couldn't vote though. I could only sit.
Oh.
So the voice was taken away. No, I was just a volunteer. I volunteered as a precinct captain.
Oh.
So basically
like for the police?
No,
That'd be funny if you could just volunteer to be the chief of police.
I know, like of that particular precinct.
Right.
Like I'm in charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm the headliner.
Yeah. Yeah. Leaders just present themselves.
That's right.
And here I am.
Yeah.
But like I was a precinct captain, which is Chicago is made up of wards, and every ward has an alderman. If within the ward there are precincts.
Right. And the alderman is like the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like the precinct captain is the guy who's the liaison between the constituents in that precinct and the alderman. So I'd knock on your door. I'd ask you, hey, are you registered to vote? Are you needing anything done in the neighborhood that needs like lights, speed bumps, sidewalks? Get that fixed.
Kill less people.
Yeah, that kind of deal. Followed through on everything but the killing part, but we are working towards perfection.
Right.
But I did that for like 3 years.
As a volunteer?
Yeah.
With the intention of going full-time into an office? Like, were you going to run for something?
I think maybe. I've always liked politics, and I like being the center of attention.
Sure.
And that's what politics is.
Yeah. Well, there's more money in politics than there is comedy.
Oh yeah. Why? Everyone who I watch on like CNN, MSNBC, Fox, all those talking heads, they're all failed open micers who went to work for a lobby, and that's how and now they're just the way they jockey for screen time on those shows is the same way we all jockey for stage time.
Sure.
And we don't know that story yet. One day we're gonna find out what Kelly McEnany or whatever, Kaylee, all these talking heads. Yeah. What they've all done to get where they are at. And how brutal an industry it was behind the scenes that no one ever talks about. Because it has to be.
Oh, yeah.
It's what everyone watches.
Yeah.
It's very cutthroat. It has to be.
Yeah. And I think there's a layer of producers there that, just have to fill the screens. You know? It's like we got to get somebody in here to have the opposite side. We got to have these two idiots argue with each other.
Yeah. And that's got to be a hard gig sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I would never want to produce.
To fill that kind of time.
News television?
Oh, no thanks.
You got to stay up on every current event ever. And then you got to find idiots that want to talk about it, but have opposing forces. It's like
anxiety driven.
Yeah. God forbid there's ever a show where like two people from opposite sides like work it out. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see it from that viewpoint. Larry, you really have a point there.
I'm gonna go back to my lobby and tell them to stop funding X, Y, and Z as a result. Like that never
Thanks
happens.
for enlightening me.
Yeah, like, all right, next. What's on the docket next, Charles?
And instead of driving each other further apart, they get closer together and they're like, oh, well, I can see your point there. I concede. And like we get, I don't know.
Advertisers are just fleeing. They're like, we're not part of this.
We can't fund that.
Right. Goodness, a utopia? Nah.
Everybody wins? No,
not on my schedule.
We have to have divisiveness.
Yeah, that's how they keep us at bay.
Yeah,
divide and conquer.
Speaking of Bay, Michael Bay.
Oh yeah,
he's finally gone now too.
Well, I saw the clip about the Jimmy Kimmel thing.
I didn't see that. I just saw an article that was like, it was about Megan Fox.
Yeah.
But she's been singing that song since the first Transformers, and everybody was like, yeah, whatever. But Michael Bay is notoriously known as the biggest dickhead director of all time.
That's that story though. It brings that's another story where it's like, dude, certain men of certain ages, you get to a certain age where you just know what's wrong.
Yep.
And that's one of those situations. She tells that story better than anyone can. I'm not going to rephrase it.
She was there.
Exactly. But like the fact that she was 15 and the solution of putting a child at a bar with a drink in her hand for the shot, that to me is more acceptable than taking that same child and putting them in a skimpy outfit on a stripper pole. And that's where it's like someone's got to step in here and say, like, parent wise, there's a lot of blame to go around here, but like, at the end of the day, it's like she is 15, and someone had to have been like, hey, dude,
right?
Like, let's talk about this.
There's a lot of checks and balances on a set that have to fail before something can go wrong actively on the set of a movie or television or commercial. If something happens outside of that realm, then if they're alone privately off work, but like on the set, there's a studio teacher, there's a first AD, a second AD, there's people, everybody's watching. There shouldn't have been any room for like indiscretion.
Exactly. And that's where it's like, wow,
yeah,
and there's that responsibility. It's not just what you say in front of the mic. If you are a producer or a director, let's face it, you are a gatekeeper.
You are.
And gatekeepers make and pick and decide what you're going to like. You're not the trendsetter. The trendsetter is the guy who's going to carry out what the gatekeeper wants you to.
Yeah. Gatekeepers have way more power than trendsetters.
Oh God, yeah. Like Jennifer Aniston. This is a great example. Jennifer Aniston is a trendsetter, and I'm only talking from her time on Friends, because when she was on Friends, she got the Rachel haircut.
Yep.
And who all went out and got that haircut? Everybody. That's trend setting.
Yes.
Right. The producers on the show who said, we like this hairstyle on you the best.
Right.
They're the gatekeepers.
Gatekeepers. The owners of the network.
Exactly.
Right. If you can afford to pay $20 million a year or an episode or whatever it was per cast member times 22 episodes, you're still making money.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You're making, I think the cast revenue was like 10%. Like those guys to this day, every single one of those 6 cast members still make $20 million a year from residuals. So,
oh my gosh.
And I think at the height of the show, they were making $1 million a piece.
Yeah.
But if they're willing to pay,
what was that, an episode at the end?
Yeah, towards that last season, that was $6 million an episode.
Right off the top.
Just off the top, right? So the show probably only took another $200,000 or $300,000 an episode to produce. But then you look at the crew, right? Think about the sound guy that's got to wire you up, making probably back then $450, $500 a day.
Okay.
Wiring up $6 million worth of talent every single day.
Wow.
Right?
What a discrepancy.
Imagine that. Imagine the sound going out on a Friends episode because one of the talent wasn't necessarily like being nice to the crew.
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't have any stories of them being disrespectful to the crew. I'm just thinking of think about that power shift, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got all these guys working, and in television, you don't even get your full union rate till the 3rd season. Like you take a discount on season 1 and 2, and then on the 3rd season, they start paying everybody like full scale.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to put 3 years of work in on a show that might fail. Like the whole system is towards the gatekeepers and towards the talent.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be talent, until they figure out that the gatekeepers are making 100 times what the talent's making.
But by the time they decide that they want to be a gatekeeper, that boat has left the dock.
Yeah, that's why so many people start their own production companies or start their own record labels and own their masters. And like, once you realize how much money you lost out in the creative process. Now, don't get me wrong, they have the outlet to get your talent out to the world.
Yeah,
and you have to pay a fee for that. I mean, nothing's free.
But look, Johnny Carson.
Yeah,
Johnny Carson owned, and his estate now owns every episode he hosted on The Tonight Show.
Wow.
They are sitting in a salt vault underground in like Nebraska. Preservation, right? They own the rights to every episode.
It's weird that they don't syndicate those.
Well, imagine if like there's the package deals like the Dean Martin celebrity roasts. They've packaged it very similar with The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Great. No problem. I watch those like I watch the Dean Martin celebrity roast infomercials. They're like 30 minutes long, and I'll just on a loop.
Yeah.
I'll just watch them all night long because they're hilarious. But like, and same with the Carson stuff.
Soundproof studio.
I love it.
Yeah.
I know. Wow, we picked that up pretty well.
Yeah. Every day at the same time.
Oh wow! So they're actually doing a fly pattern then.
Yeah.
Which means they're picking up everything. We're doing.
Well, we're not to say where we are on air, but there's a minimum ceiling that you have to fly at.
Oh, because of the.
And they don't alter it for mountainous ranges.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. By this point, if you watch the show, you know where we are because you've probably been on it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's just I don't know. I lost my train of thought again.
Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Residuals.
But people.
Packaging.
It's like. I knew, because I'm a TV business kind of guy. I love the business side of it.
Yeah, you're a mover and shaker.
I do what I can.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's a very mafia response. I do all right. I do what I can.
You know, I'm a lucky and a fortunate man. You know, what can I say?
I've had a few good looks.
But like. I to me it was like once I learned that he had owned the rights to every episode. That to me, that's when I realized like that's where the money's at.
Yeah,
it's not
owning
being in a commercial once or twice or whatever it is,
which can be very lucrative.
Yeah,
but it's like David Letterman owned the slot after his show.
Yeah,
and that's how Craig Ferguson. Craig Kilborn. Craig Ferguson. The Scottish dude.
Oh, Ferguson. Yeah. Kilborn was before Ferguson.
Yeah.
And I don't know why his didn't last so long. It was only 3 years.
Yeah. It was really short. I think Dave had something to do with that. But Dave could just go, this guy's on after me. I own that. It's in my deal.
Yeah.
I own that slot.
Does he still own the slot technically?
Well, does Worldwide Pants still owns the show, I think. That's worth a goog. Check it out at home.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's where, like, I production company. I've always wanted my own production company.
Yeah, it's great until you have to go out and get clients.
Totally.
Where do those go? Then you need a sales guy.
Oh yeah, it adds up, doesn't it?
It does.
It's crazy. I just wanted a wardrobe department when I was a kid. I was like, I want a wardrobe department. I want a place where I can go get props.
Yeah.
You know, and I was a hoarder as a kid.
Right.
Because I'm like, no, that's going to be in the studio's wardrobe. Like, I need that.
Oh, so even as a kid, you knew you wanted to be a performer?
In the industry in some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't start out as a performer. When I went to Columbia, it was always like behind the camera, writing, producing, learning how to frame a shot, stuff like that, edit. I produced a sketch comedy show at Columbia College.
Yeah. Live, or did you record it?
Recorded.
That's awesome.
And I was one of the writers too. So we had a premiere, the whole 9 yards.
Sure.
It taught us how to like put together a 22-minute episode.
Right.
How long a sketch should be and all that kind of stuff. And I'll watch Saturday Night Live, and when the sketch gets to the 4.5 minute mark, if it's still going, it's hot in here.
Yeah.
You know, because like that shouldn't be that long.
Did you have aspirations of going to New York for SNL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wanted to be the whole Second City kid from Chicago.
Did you do Second City?
I didn't.
Why not?
I don't know why. I wanted to do so many things, and I just didn't have money.
Right.
I was poor, you know, and when I had back surgery, I had a spinal fusion when I was in 2000.
Wow.
My L4,
I know a lot
L5.
more about that than I should.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, but like, I did it in the middle of college.
Wow.
So like in the semester break, I had the surgery.
Were you an athlete?
I was, and when I was a kid, I was sports oriented as a child.
Yeah.
I did one play in high school.
Okay.
I took an improv class in high school, and I performed improv once before I got to college.
Yeah. But that was the bug.
That was it.
Yeah.
And
that's so much fun.
It was it was fun. It was when I realized like the power of being aware of where you are in the room and using the tools you have in front of you. The first improv show I did was we went to a elementary school that fed into my high school.
Okay.
And
so there's no middle school where you come from? They just go
they were in middle school. They were in middle school. The middle school who fed into my high school.
That would be so funny.
Yeah, like right
where
away,
I come from, they're so smart. They go from 5th grade to 9th grade.
12-year-old, now he's doing driver's ed.
Yeah. That's great.
So like it was just like
sorry, I keep derailing.
I know, totally. It's okay.
Improv at
improv.
middle school.
In middle school. So like the middle school gym teacher was my football coach my freshman year.
Oh, funny. Okay.
So it hit me when we got there that he was the teacher. And I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And I just redid the whole act that we were going to do in his voice. Because,
making fun of him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
was he a good sport?
Yeah. Really good sport.
Because that can only go two ways.
By this point, I was like a junior. I'm like, hey, he's no longer my coach.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, this is like spot on.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like, and I don't mean to like, I haven't seen or talked to this guy in so many years, but like his voice was loud, high pitched, and whiny.
Oh yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Too much penetration, like that kind of guy. So like when I had like, I was doing like a gym teacher class, and I had all these kids, and I'm like, what are you doing? And the kids like all like every kid in the place just went up in laughter.
Yeah.
And I was
because
like,
I could hear it right away.
Yeah. And once you get that laugh that bounces in the back of the room, or goes from the back of the room to the front of the room, and it hits you in the ears.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
That's it. You're hooked.
Yeah. It's like a golfer. Like I could shoot 159 million strokes in one round.
That's impressive.
I know.
So is there even time in the day?
It's a long round of golf.
Yeah.
But if I have one shot, whether it's a good tee shot or
amazing putt,
whatever,
out of the sand into the hole,
boom, just one.
Yep.
I'm coming back tomorrow.
That's right.
And
that's all you need for golf. Yeah.
Give me a laugh. I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes.
That is all it takes.
It's fun.
And now we have all these new media outlets to express ourselves.
It's dangerous. Powerful.
It is.
Goes back to responsibility.
Yeah, I think about it. I had this little troop of guys. We called ourselves 100 million thousand, and we started to shoot YouTube content in 2010.
Okay.
And that was right when I was transitioning from being a second AD to a first AD. One of the guys ended up becoming my second AD when I became a first AD. One guy was like a house photographer for like real estate, and the other dude ended up in video games. And we were just at that point where like we felt more legit working on Hollywood projects than four guys in Hollywood that were making YouTube content. So we just broke up. And we all ended up doing our thing, and now they've all moved up and they're all doing really well. But if we had stayed a troop and we were 10 years into our shooting sketches, we would be monolithic right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be absolutely unstoppable, and then we would all work for ourselves, but we wouldn't have had the past of becoming successful in a legitimate film industry and having that confidence. So I don't think we'll ever all come back together.
Right.
But
it's hard.
yeah. It's hindsight's always, what is it, 20/20, 30, 40, 50?
Something like that.
Hindsight's better than foresight.
Yeah. I mean, when you look back on anything, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Dude,
if I had done this different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I live that, like, I have so many, like, I wouldn't say many regrets, but like the ones that I do have make me cringe to this day, and they're like 30 years old.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can think of a million embarrassing things that are just like, and that's what I've been trying to weed those out of my stand-up set. It's like, oh, let's just talk about the most embarrassing times ever. It's like,
Do you think you hold on to that because you've never basically forgiven yourself?
Potentially. I think that as you grow as a young comic, I think you start off with self-deprecation because, hey, look at this stupid thing that I did. Let's all laugh at me. Let's laugh at my expense before you develop the writing tools that you need to make a funny out of anything.
That's true. Going back to writing.
Yeah.
Just made me think about it. I hate when I see a comic tell a joke and they don't know what their punch word is.
Yeah.
And then they follow the punch word with, you know what I mean? Or there's another question or because.
Or or like
Yeah.
whatever that pause is, the what they think is the audience's cue to laugh.
Yeah.
Smacking the mic on their knee like Chappelle, or doing something that's like, now's the time to laugh.
Yeah.
Like, well, if it was funny, we would have laughed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can think of a comic who did that recently. Not recently, a long time ago. And then he tweeted about it.
Mm.
And then like Jeselnik responded back because he was in the same lineup that night.
Mm.
He says, they seem fine to me.
Wow.
And it was like, you could clearly like, oh, okay.
Mm.
These two don't get along.
Nope. Well, Jeselnik's persona, I mean, he's a beautiful human being in real life, but his persona is just that dry.
Right in your face.
Yeah.
Blunt.
My favorite Jeselnik joke is, I live in Los Angeles like you wish you could. It's just so like, yeah, if you could, you would do it too.
There's a Mitch Hedberg kind of like style to it almost.
Yeah, if you look at the math on how many jokes he has to have in an hour.
Oh, because they're so like, they're one sentence.
Yeah.
So it's boom, boom, boom.
If they're even 30 seconds long, he needs 120 of them in an hour long set. It's like, that's just, but he can write them at an amazing speed.
Yeah. Well, that's why you want to work on a late night TV show, because that's where you learn to pump out volume.
Yeah.
Not necessarily quality, but it is volume.
Yeah, but the formula for that doesn't hold up for real stand up. Like monologue stand up for the host. True. It's just what happened today. They write a list here. They write a list of other nondescript words here, and then they just start drawing lines to connect those two things, and then they write jokes. It's like, we got 8 hours to figure out how to make this funny. That happened yesterday. So
I need 5 jokes, guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm going to write 50. You're going to write 50. And then we're going to all sit down and say them, and we're going to pick the best 5.
And depending on the show, they might have a fax line. If they have a fax line, that means that takes a joke away from the writers.
You mean like an actual fax? Like we're faxing shit to it?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's faxing jokes in?
Yeah. Letterman used to have a fax line where you could fax in your jokes, like anyone.
Really?
Yeah. And
interesting.
If they got the joke, if they used your joke, you got $75.
Wow, but that thing was just blowing up all the time with bad jokes.
I don't. Yeah, I know. I took a monologue class by Gabe Abelson. He was the monologue writer for Letterman.
Wow.
And he tells a story about how. Well, he didn't tell the story. Letterman tells it. David Letterman's last monologue on the show. Did you see it?
Mm-mm. Well, if I did, I didn't memorize it. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. This is, to me, I'm a sponge in this world. This is amazing to me. I love stories like this because to me it just hits you in the heart. But like, it was his last episode ever, last monologue, and he tells every single joke. And he says, every joke you heard tonight in the monologue was written by Johnny Carson.
Wow.
Johnny Carson used to send in jokes via fax.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they would send Johnny Carson $75 for each joke.
That's funny.
And he didn't want it, obviously, because
right.
he doesn't need it. But they're like, no, rules are rules. You sold a joke to the late night with David Letterman.
Yeah.
So stuff like that to me is like full circle.
That's fascinating.
That's the ultimate callback.
Yeah.
That he could go out on.
That's insane.
That was the gig he wanted. There's a great book about the transition.
Yeah.
From Carson to Leno.
Yeah.
And then there's a great book about that. Another transition from Leno to Conan. Bill James is the writer of both books. Andy, who's Conan's sidekick? Andy, Richter. He didn't read the book. He says something about the book where he's like, I heard about this guy. I never read anything about him or anything. I didn't know anything about the book that he wrote, but everything this is what he says. I'm sorry. I never spoke to Bill James, but everything in that book, it was 100% accurate.
Wow.
Like,
how did he get his facts?
Bill James is a very, very good writer.
Yeah.
Excellent writer. And when you're reading these books, you feel like you're in the room as this is all going down.
Wow.
And it's an intense read. They're great books. Like, there's a list of books that people say, oh, if you're going to be in the industry, you should read this book, this book, this book. You'll never eat lunch in this town again.
Yeah.
Screenplay by or screenwriter. It's like the ultimate screenplay writing book. Story, Save the Last Cat or Save the Cat. That book, that other one, or Robert Evans, that's another one.
Mhm.
Oh, that's such a good book.
Yeah.
Again, I absorb them like sponges.
Oh yeah. If you're interested in something, you can read it once and memorize it. And
Yeah.
if you're not interested in something, somebody can explain it to you 50 times, and you're like, I don't get it.
Yeah, like what I'm doing now. No, I'm kidding. I'm a great guy.
You are.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
You know.
There's very few great guys in this town, but I think you're one of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are too.
I'm trying to be.
You know, when I met you, and I'm like, this guy's so cool because like when we started talking about like, hey, you're like, what shows do you watch?
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, dude, I'm on a Billions kick. Like you wouldn't believe. It's like Billions is great. I'm
Yep.
like, this guy's cool.
Yeah.
Because I love that show. I think
I didn't-
Compliment is so good at what he does.
I got hooked early, and I'm not happy with some of the places that it went.
Okay.
Like I don't like that they took away his family and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to see that dynamic.
Kind of make it work.
Yeah, either make it work or like keep them in the show somehow. I like Malin a lot. I think she's a fantastic actress. And if he's not going to be Family Guy now, he's got billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, let's see the other side of him. Let's see Single Guy.
Oh yeah.
And they've alluded to some of the parties that he was going to, but like I feel like he would have. I think he
definitely-
would entertain himself a little bit more as a billionaire.
I agree. Like he's just too like by himself.
Robotic.
Yeah.
I feel like he's on the spectrum a little bit, or at least his character is on the spectrum a little bit.
That could be why the antisocial.
Yes, but I mean, he's got that right hand man that's super social,
Yeah.
and then Taylor is also definitely spectrum oriented.
Yeah.
Feel like the bond between them would be stronger
Yeah.
if they were both spectrumatic.
Yeah.
So, but then like, how do you Sorkin gets such a pass, and like, how do you start ripping that apart without anybody going like, well, what the fuck do you know?
And you guys are going, I mean, one extreme to the next.
Mm.
Like, how are you guys even still working together?
Right.
You know?
And then she burned you, and then you let her back in. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
somebody
like now his power went down a little bit because like you let her back in after she burned you.
Yeah.
Which means she knows she can get the best of you once. She'll do it twice.
Right.
So he's letting his card show a little bit in that regard.
Yeah. And the power dynamic between Chuck and his wife with the whole sexual taboo stuff is like, do we even need that? Like, how does that further the show that Chuck likes to get kicked in the face with a leather whip or something? Like,
Yeah. It's like once he came forward to the press,
right.
it's like Sam and Diane kissing for the first time on Cheers.
Mhm.
Okay, they hooked up.
Got
Now
it.
what?
Yeah.
You know? And there is a Sam and Diane dynamic, I think, on the show,
Mm-hmm.
but it's with Bobby and what's his name's ex-wife. There goes the background.
There goes the photo studio.
Chuck Rhodes' wife. What's her
Right.
name?
I can't remember her name.
But like it seems like there's a dynamic that
Yeah.
they're building up the tension.
Right. Especially with the new painter guy,
Yeah.
and he's jealous.
Oh, that dinner scene.
Dude.
Ooh,
Yeah.
tension.
So I definitely check out when I see that painter guy because I worked with him on an Amazon Prime show.
Oh, cool.
He played a cop. I don't think it went much past the pilot, or if it did, I didn't watch it. But it was him, Joe Jonas, a couple other people who were like cops or whatever. So we're shooting the promo for it, and I go up behind him because he's talking to somebody, and I'm gonna invite him to set, but I put my hand on his back. It's just like a "Hey, I'm behind you" kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, "Whoa, hey, whoa, what are you doing, guy? You touching my lower back? What am I, your girlfriend?
Oh my
Like,
god.
I should punch you in the face right now." He's like making a big scene. I'm like, "Dude, super sorry. I'm just kind of tired. I didn't want to startle you by walking up behind you. I probably went too low with that." He's like, "No, you don't ever put your hands on another man." And I was like, okay, dude. You know what? You're 100% right.
Yeah.
But, maybe this doesn't have to be that big of a deal. And he just got furious, dude. So I get
amazing.
taken out a little bit when I see people that I've worked with. And now I wonder, like, is he being a dick on that set?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, is that how he is? Like, I know people get written off of shows, not because the character came to a natural conclusion in the storyline, but because the other actors are like, this dude sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just aspire not to be the guy that sucks.
It's so funny because it's like it goes back to the whole responsibility thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not role models. We're not, whatever. We don't. No one wants to be a role model.
Nobody's perfect.
Exactly. I kind of want to be a role model, but like
Sure.
whatever. It goes back to like you can't have this slice of cake and eat it while you're doing something stupid,
Right.
and expect everyone just to like, oh, it's okay, let's balance his problems, and we'll just look the other way.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, we'll overlook everybody else who's more deserving or just as deserving, or
Right.
stuff. I just don't get that.
Yeah, that goes all the way back to the Michael Bay thing and many other things. It's like,
it's nuts.
well, hopefully we can fix it from within.
I think so.
And I'm looking forward to the new podcast,
Yeah,
the Joe Moran Show.
It's kind of a weird time to start a podcast for.
Well, everybody else did it during the pandemic.
Yeah, I might as well.
Why
I
not?
actually have it's like there's no echo when I do audio recording stuff. I mean, like this, I could tell the audio in here is like top notch. It's good stuff.
Yeah, from the helicopter that flew over.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I'm talking to a good microphone.
Yeah.
It's clear. It's, aside from the helicopter.
I'll send you the links to all this stuff. It's not terribly expensive.
Please do. I love this stuff. But like, I also like listen to other people do podcasts, and it's like, okay, dude, you got an iPhone 8?
Yeah. Anchor will let you go right into your phone these days.
And I'm cool. It's fine. But I like the solid, crisp.
When I started this whole thing, I was like, I'm just going to emulate Joe Rogan. And I'm going to have all different kinds of people on my show.
Yeah.
And people are like, what's the format of your show? And I go, my friends come on and we talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about for an hour. And that's my show. And people are like, oh, well, that doesn't seem like it's going to work. I'm like, well, it's the #1 podcast in the world. I'm just emulating that.
Yeah. It's called, you're not here to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Everyone who's been doing this it's the same thing. It's just you're putting your own little flair, which is your personality, which no one can take away from you, into it. If
They've
people
tried.
But if people identify with it, hey, fantastic.
Right. I'm still finding my feet. And that's one of the things that actually, and this will help you too when you launch your show. I had maybe 10 or 11 episodes banked in. I started recording in January. I launched it June 12th. And eventually I heard Bert Kreischer say, just put your podcast out. Just start. If you're starting a podcast, just start it, because nobody cares.
Yeah.
You think that when you start your podcast, it's going to be like the media explosion of the universe. And to you, it is. This is the day that I drop my podcast. I'm always going to remember that.
Yeah.
But you have so much to learn through that process. Like, why not just get it out? And people that resonate with it are going to stick with you and watch you grow. And then, I wish I had gotten a year into my podcast before I blew it out on my socials, because now I'm better at it and I'm getting better guests.
Yeah.
And I'm interacting better and we're doing bits and it's funny.
Yeah.
But I blew it out right when I launched it.
Right.
Watch my new podcast. This is great. Well, I sucked the first 30 episodes. Not that you're going to suck your first 30 episodes.
Yeah, it's okay.
But, once you get your show going, just get it out there.
Yeah.
And then people are going to love it.
I think that's the biggest like hurdle for me. Deciding to do this was like naming it and all that other it all comes down to like, who am I?
Right.
Why do I have a voice? Why do I think you need to hear it? Right. Like, really, who am I?
Yeah, it's an ego play, right?
And you have to get over that, because it's like at the same time, it's like, well, no, it's not just an ego play. It is in a sense, but like it's not just a podcast. It's part of a bigger picture that you're building. It's
right.
Like, and in a sense, podcasting is kind of like your foundation for a lot of people, because they don't want to start out in stand up.
Right.
It's easier to do a podcast than it is to do stand up.
Right.
Some people can do both, great, but they're both springboards. And you're supposed to, when you do something new for the first time,
you're not supposed to be good at it.
Yeah, you're supposed to fuck up.
But I'm hoping that I'm the exception to the stand up rule, and that I'm really good at it right away.
Well, you keep doing it.
I was just starting to go up a lot, and then COVID hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We'll get you on the show at Carrie and Joe's.
Oh, that would be great,
show.
Man.
Yeah.
I would love that.
It's a fun show, man. And it's so unique, because we don't amplify what's on the patio, because there's like 30 people in the audience. It's a small room. You don't need amplification coming through a PA system to hear the jokes.
Yeah.
But I am recording it, and we match it up and sync it up in post. The audio sounds so good for you and your own purposes I'll send everything to you for doing the show, because like there's no budget, right?
Yeah.
But I'll give you like an audio file, a one angle tape or a wide angle tape of it for doing the show.
Wow.
And it'll be
That's
synced.
a lot of work, man.
Yeah. But I only do 5 comics a show.
Yeah.
So you can take that set and use it to get more bookings. Send it to another club or whatever.
Sure.
We had Scott Vinci. He's a comic on the show. He actually, we got him a 3-camera edited 10-minute set of what he did on the patio show.
Yeah.
And it came out fantastic.
Sure. If that doesn't get you booked, then you need to write more jokes.
Exactly. And and I said to him, like, I was kind of selling it to him, like, you know, you can send this to colleges, you can send to bookers all across the country, you can put it on a website and sell it, download for $1, or iTunes, whatever. He sent back to us. He says, "This is so professionally well done. I have never." He says, "This is the best I've ever been presented." Or, you know what I mean? Like, it was like this. He couldn't thank us enough. We were happy to do it because it was showed that we could do it.
Yeah.
But I was also like, wow, this is gonna be good for him.
Sure.
And knowing that makes me feel good.
Yeah, and that's only going to benefit you in ways that you can't even see coming yet.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah.
If not, that's cool. I'm having fun.
That's the whole point.
Exactly.
That's when it clicked for me, and I was like, I got to stop getting in my head when I'm on stage. I'm going to go up there, and I'm going to have a good time with the words that I'm saying, and that's going to translate, and it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
And if I'm not having a good time, why am I paying my $5 for this 4 minutes?
Exactly. And you should honestly just stop giving a shit.
Yeah.
Throw caution to the wind.
And that's when it got great. Yeah. That's when it was like, that's when I started getting legit laughs. And then I had a kid that's been micing for, you know, here I am patting myself on the back, but I had a kid that had just moved here, but he had been micing for like 3 or 4 months. He's like, "How long have you been doing comedy?" I was like, "Yeah, that was my 7th time doing it." He was like, "Whoa, wow. Nice. I thought you've been doing it for like 10 years.
You know what, though? I will say this. There's a group of people, I think, not a group like pinpoint specific individuals, but I think there's a certain kind of person who they just kind of thrive in certain situations and things just click for them. Right. And like, I like being in front of a microphone, in front of an audience and just talking. Yeah. That I'm comfortable doing it. Not everybody is.
That's right.
So it's just a matter of like, how soon will it take you to get to that level of comfort compared to the next guy and whatever.
Well, I think that's another reason why, not to cut you off, but why podcasts are taking off, because live human interaction is a dying art. Yeah. And a lot of people are just in their phone all day, and they get to think about what they want to respond to for as long as they want to before they text you back or say something on social media. But to watch 2 guys or girls, 2 people, them, whoever, interact off the top of their head and see what they come up with for a whole hour
is pretty fascinating. And well, it's also making, this is the big thing, is like, you may not like me.
I don't.
It's totally cool.
Yeah. Is it on my? You could read it on my face.
Yeah, it's like that beads of sweat. Yeah. It's a little red. No, but like, you may not like me. You may like me. I don't care. I know that you have. I'm going to force you to make a decision. Right. One way or the other.
There you go.
You're either going to say yay. You're going to go yay. Nay or yay.
Yay or yay.
Yay or yay. Yay, yay, yay.
Yay, yay.
But like, it's either going to be, you're going to like it or you're not.
That's right.
And it's instantaneous. And you don't even get the chance to think about what you're thinking about that you don't like. Because I'm controlling that. Right. With my little one-liner stupid joke. Yeah. And if it makes you upset, then I really win. Because I don't want you just to agree with me. I can find people who will agree with me. I want you to disagree so that you can prove to me that I'm wrong. Show me the way. I'd rather tell me why I'm wrong. You know, like, let's do that. But like, at the same time, I want to make you think. And if you're thinking, then I'm doing my job. Yeah.
A lot of guys will write like that too. They're like, what's the most fucked up starting premise that I could give you? And then how do I win the whole crowd over through my bit?
And doing that, that's fun to watch. Yeah. Especially when they can do it well. It's like finding good improv.
Yeah. Which is also very hard to find.
Yeah. But when you do, it's like, ooh, there's some lightning and I got it in a bottle.
That's right.
This is cool.
Yeah.
It's just awesome to watch and be a part of. That's live comedy though.
Right.
Live entertainment. We need that.
We do. And we need it to open up soon.
Yeah. Well, the whole idea of social media and walking around with all that stuff in your pocket, I remember thinking this when internet came out with email. Like, dude, this is going to destroy human interaction. Right. It's going to desocialize.
No one's going to talk to each other ever again.
Yeah. And we're at that point where it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's scary. And I'm going to change it.
All by yourself because you're a part-time superhero.
That's right. I don't need the benefits, baby.
No.
I got my own cape. It's in the trunk.
Is it really?
I think I got one in the trunk, yeah.
That's your spare cape.
Yeah. Next to the golf clubs.
It's my backup cape.
You had the backup cape. Well, it wasn't always the backup cape. It was the only cape for a while.
Yeah, but then you took it to the dry cleaners, and then the dry cleaners shut down for COVID, and now you can only wear your backup cape.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why we keep it in the trunk. You never know.
Yeah. You never know when you're going to need a superhero.
Good thing I'm mobile.
Right. Well, Yeah, you could fly, but you decide to drive a car in your off time.
And when I drive, I have to put gas in the car, which
Right.
means I'm contributing money into an economy that is
Sure,
already
sure.
weak. So we don't fly.
But if you wanted to, you could just pick it up and fly it home if you didn't feel like stopping. If you're in a hurry,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Exactly.
Dinner's hot or something.
Gotta go to the bathroom
Yeah.
because I don't like peeing in public
No.
or at public restrooms.
Public peeing. Pee-pee.
Or
Yeah.
pooing.
Ooh.
Pooing.
I am a at-home or hotels only.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like that.
Yeah. Or, I mean, it's tough on set. Sometimes you just have to go because it's a long day. But if I'm on a road trip, I'll stop at a casino.
Oh. Well,
They have the cleanest bathrooms.
Huh. You're a gambler. You like to gamble.
I'm a gambler.
What's your game?
It was craps, but it's definitely slots. We were going to talk about slot
Yeah,
theory.
let's do that.
Let's
Let's
end it
talk.
on slot theory because
Okay.
these cameras are going to run out of batteries soonish.
Okay.
So what's your slot theory?
So my slot theory is it's based off of a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Oh, wow.
Hard 8. Have you seen Hard 8?
I feel like I must have seen. I've seen almost every gambling movie you can watch, so I feel like I have.
It's like a late 90s or early
Yeah.
90s flick, and but like there's this scene, and to me it made sense, and I've done it and had some success.
Mm.
But like you go in there with $100 or $20, and you pay like 25 cents or whatever the machine is charging. You don't put anything more than what it's charging, and you just do one pull, and you wait a minute after the final roll. And then you slowly, patiently do another one. Same deal. Wait a minute after the other one. The idea is that you're supposed to somehow get comped in this process.
Mm-hmm.
By taking a $20 whatever and only paying the minimum, one pull every minute, you do the math, that's going to probably put you there over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you win, now you're taking up time on the floor at that particular piece of real estate. And they want to get you out of there to get the next guy in, right?
Okay.
So the idea is like, how do they get you off of that machine? They give you a comp. Hey, come with me. Let me show you this. We're gonna get you all set up, and we're gonna get you, blah blah blah. And they're gonna take you away from it to go get it for you. They're gonna, you know what I mean?
I do.
So they get you off the floor that way. So that's how you would get the comps. That's the
Yeah.
theory I'm using here, is like how to get comps.
And that was accurate at the time in the late 90s, but now we have players cards that go right in the
That's true.
machine.
Yeah.
And you get rated on bet per hour, and you get comped out electronically.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they
Yeah.
know every move you're making, anyways.
They do, and there's theoretically your card isn't supposed to be connected to the machine. Like, it's only there to keep track of your spending, so you can get comps.
Okay.
But it's not supposed to go like, we like this guy, he's a really good customer. We're gonna.
Yeah.
This is telling the machine to pay this guy out.
Mm.
But the times that I forget to put my card in that machine, sometimes I hit bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Because they don't know.
yeah,
And what they don't know is dangerous.
that's right.
Which
So
means they're going to pay out to you to keep you on the floor,
Exactly.
thinking you're going to spend more.
Our hack for slots in a group environment is called the corporation. So let's just say you and I were doing Vegas for the weekend. You're headlining, I'm opening for you, and let's just go blow off some steam and get a cocktail.
Yeah.
You and I will both take out $100, and we'll put that in 20s, right? So I'll be the treasurer, right? So every time we sit down, we'll put either 20 or 40, whatever we agree upon, in the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it up and out. So after 3 or 4 pulls, we usually up a little bit of money. You cash out. We rotate picking machines. All the winnings go in my back pocket, and the original 200 stays in my front pocket.
Yeah.
And we go from machine to machine, working our way around the door where the young lady goes to get the cocktails. So the first time she shows up, we hand her a $20 bill, and we want 2 shots and 2 beers. I can't do that. Here's $20. Oh my God. She's back every 5 minutes. So that's where we maximize our free alcohol that way.
Yeah.
All the while we're winning.
Yeah.
And I've had whole birthday weekends where me and 2 other guys on $60 to $80 have paid for all the cabs, all the dinners, everything.
Wow.
Because if you get lucky early on, you hit $100 here or there, then you start betting max. Like, we also take turns hitting the button. So I can hit minimum bet, and then you could hit max bet, or I could hit middle. Like, we get to choose.
Yeah.
So it usually works out. I've also found that the times that I've hit the hardest have been when I've put exactly $40 in a machine.
Really?
If I put 100 in, usually it wants to drain it out. If I put 20 in, it's usually not enough to get it going. But 40, right around the $20 mark,
You're teasing.
it's, let's give this guy some
Yeah.
cash.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really okay. That's beyond my like. Yeah, I never even thought about that.
We do it a lot. We're there a lot. This is the longest I've been in a very long time.
Wow. I've played some blackjack,
Mm-hmm.
and I've played some craps, and
I used to love craps. I still do. It's just it's a lot. It's a big emotional drain.
First time I played it, I was at Laughlin for a comedy festival, and I said to my girlfriend, we were walking by the table, like, let me just look at this. I think I can figure it out. I've never played.
Oh wow! You probably won a lot of money.
I did.
Beginner's luck.
Yeah. And I asked the guy,
and your lady stood next to you
the whole time.
Lady luck.
Yeah, and the guy says to me, he says, yeah, you can watch. And I'm like, when I'm ready to play, I'll place a bet. He's like, no problem. So I watched. I'm like, okay. And I figured it out within like 3 minutes, up $500.
Yeah.
And then we had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Later on that night, we went to another table in the same casino playing craps. By the time we left that table, I had everyone at the whatever the table making bets based on what I was throwing. Even the dealer was putting bets down on me.
Wow.
And when we were winning, the dealer was like sliding me money.
Yeah.
He says, thank you very much. Here you go. So I was making money from everybody at the table, including just from the winnings.
Wow.
And it was the best rush. I think I made like $800.
Yeah. One for the shooter.
Yeah.
Right? One for the shooter. One for the shooter.
Yeah. And the next thing I was done, I'm like, and that paid for the whole trip.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah.
But that's luck.
It is.
That's not
Never
me.
play craps again because it will not happen that
It's
way.
not. You don't see me going to my accountant explaining why at 4 o'clock in the morning, when you get that pull and it comes in with $50,000, like it's the amazing feeling. Like I'm not looking for that feeling again.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
You have the story.
That's it.
And speaking of stories, I appreciate all the stories that you shared on this episode.
Thank you.
I want to end it before the cameras cut off because they're about to go.
Okay.
How long do you think we did?
I was gonna say we did well over an hour.
122.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feature length.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was great. I hope you'll come back for another one.
Anytime.
So we can pick up where we left off.
Yeah, we could talk forever, dude.
We could.
I love this.
And I look forward. Are you going to do a solo show? Or are you going to have guests?
It's I'm going to start solo and bring in guests, family,
sure,
friends, and then celebrities, comedians, whoever wants to be on it. And
boom.
Just kind of having fun, building content and sharing it. And
that's right.
Communicating.
That's what it's all about. Story,
dude. It's the number one. That's how we all got here. Stories.
Yeah.
So
I look forward to being a guest on your show.
I hope so.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Joe. Thanks for coming. His Instagram's been under his face the whole time, but don't forget to check out Joker Prods, which is the show at the house, and the upcoming Joe Moran Show on all podcast platforms and probably YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. We'll see you all later.
This show's a piece of shit.